Hi there, Art Nergard here from Shooting Site. We're just going to do a quick informal video explaining a new pillar bedding system I've developed for the M14. The way the M14 works is that the receiver sits in the top of the stock, the trigger clamps in the bottom of the stock, between the underside of the receiver, the front of the trigger housing, the back of the receiver, the back of the trigger housing, that snugs it all together. The problem with and then there's additional contact area at the back of the lugs against the front of the insert, the stock insert, which absorb the recoil and give a pressure surface for the receiver to seat against. The problem with wooden stocks is that with time, they can shrink. With humidity changes, they can shrink or swell. And so your draw pressure between these contact areas is not constant. So what I've done is developed a replacement for the stock liner, which is machined out of aluminum, and I have extended the surfaces both above and below the liner so that we have replacements for the wooden stock at the top and bottom edge. So when this is inserted into the stock, I've now got metal top to bottom for it to seat on. Similarly, in the back, where the tail of the trigger housing and the back of the receiver go, I have made a mushroom-shaped piece where I've cut the stock out completely so this piece not drops in. And again, we can now clamp aluminum to aluminum with minimal draw pressure needed to get consistent and repeatable seating. When you look at how these things are put together, I'll do it first outside. So the inside of the aluminum pieces have got the equivalent of the recoil lugs from the stock liner put in. So you get a piece that goes in there, a piece that goes in there, the trigger housing goes in there, this piece goes in there. And the whole thing snaps together. What I've done here to make this work is I've had to extend these bearing surfaces to prevent the stock liner from rotating. Stock liner gets one additional piece here that clamps in the front, that keeps the front separated at the correct distance. The idea is that this whole thing would be assembled and then epoxied into the stock so that in the future, when you take your receiver in and out, the aluminum pieces stay permanently in the stock. Now, what you're gonna have to do to the stock is, if you look here, and I will post this as a PDF, the sides of these plates here is drawn at 2x, that way around. The sides of these plates here, you can see I've got a lug on the bottom that sticks out about 220 thousandths, and you need to relieve in about 250 thousandths in depth. I'd recommend making all of those cuts maybe 20 thousandths bigger than the actual CAD drawing to allow some room for the epoxy to get in there. Same for the top. The top is a dual step. That this top edge is about a 1/4 inch deep. This bottom edge here is about 700 thousandths deep. So again, I just make those a little bit oversized, and they go to depths of 100 and 215 thousandths respectively. So you can see what I've done here. Now I've chosen on the top to just cut all the way through. I think you can probably, when you go out to do this 215 deep, if you go, I don't know, 225 deep or something like that, you can probably get away with not breaking through the outside. So you still leave a little bit of wood there so it's not visible. Don't know if that's possible or not. The lengths then, again, I'll put a PDF up in the video, a little over 4.5 inches. And so I've just gone in with a milling machine and relieved those areas, top and again on the bottom. For this pillar in the back, I basically took what's been inletted already for the trigger pad to sit on, and I just drilled that all the way through And then from the top, I fit the receiver in and then just traced around the profile of the receiver and went in and milled around that line. So I've now created an area where that piece just fits in nicely. So assembling the whole thing, one of the plates will go there. I've got the screws there. And again, what I would do here is put these in loosely with epoxy on them so they can move around, and then don't tighten up these screws until after the whole thing is assembled and your receiver is clamped in it, so that everything can sort of find its happy place and align properly. So those two drop in there. This piece screws in the front. This piece screws in the front to hold the front gap correct. That drops in there. And now your whole receiver locks in, and you can see what we've got here is continuous contact across that whole length, proper contact there, proper contact here in the back. And now that everything is sort of aligned and snug and happy, you can come in and tighten up these stock liner screws. If you look at the stock from above, you can see there's a little bit of raw wood there. So there is, in fact, thickness that you could allow the wood to remain so that the stock liner would be not visible, with the exception of maybe under the book catch. There's an area there that thins out. It might be visible there. But you could hide the rest of it if you're careful in how you do the inletting.